Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Tickle here. So today, we are going to be watching, or I'm going to be watching another video essay, I guess, from Boracity Magazine or Boris City Magazine channel. How BTS changed Tiny Desk concerts. Oh, okay. I'm curious about that. Uh, I recently reacted to a older video of hers, um, the forgotten BTS songs. That was cool. Interesting. I saw some stuff I ain't heard before. Pre-debut stuff too. It was cool. Um, but I like her videos, so um, I'm curious about this one. So, and it's not that long too, which I like. So, um, let get it, let go.
In 2008, NPR host Bob Boylan and music editor Stephen Thompson left the popular South by Southwest festival disappointed. The loud crowd noise didn't allow them to hear the music of folk singer Laura Gibson properly, so they joked about having her perform at their office, behind the host's desk. Eventually, they made it happen, and the Tiny Desk concert series was born. It initially started as a way to give a small independent artist a platform where they could be heard, but a year later, in 2009, a big name reached out to them, Tom Jones. So they decided to welcome big artists as well. That's how they got their first viral performance, T-Pain's Tiny Desk concert. From this point on, a lot of big artists started participating, making the series one of the most popular music shows in the country. Many compare the current relevance of Tiny Desk concert to the one of the MTV Unplugged series during the 90s. The show's format is one of the most popular in pop culture right now. However, only a couple years ago, Tiny Desk was really a big American show. They did have a lot of international artists, but this didn't lead to international franchises or an international audience. That was until 2020 changed the show's format, with a little help from BTS. The Tiny Desk concert producers have been inviting international artists to their show for a long time, and they've revealed that they have invited BTS for years. The show's producers even suggested moving the desk, so the 7 of them could be more comfortable, even allowing them to dance if they wanted to. During these years of invitations, the show had some very famous guests, but year after year, the BTS Tiny Desk concert didn't happen. In my opinion, this makes sense. From 2017 to 2019, BTS's schedule was completely packed, so they had to carefully prioritize. The invitations they did accept were from big events, mostly recognized and broadcast around the world. And as popular as the Tiny Desk concerts were becoming in the US during this time, BTS simply didn't have the time for a show that most international audiences didn't know existed. This was until the pandemic started. In 2020, BTS could not travel outside of South Korea, so their projects could only be promoted through pre-recorded performances they sent internationally. This was the reason why BTS started accepting a lot of invitations they've been rejecting for years. They finally agreed to perform at BBC Radio 1, MTV Unplugged, the VMAs, and of course, Tiny Desk concert. Because this was during the pandemic, BTS participated in a special version of the show titled Tiny Desk Home Concert, in which the artists tried to capture the same unplugged environment at their homes. And because a lot of people around the world were stuck at home during the pandemic, 2020 became one of the biggest years in Tiny Desk history, not just in the US but globally. So BTS's performance, along with other Tiny Desk home concerts, rapidly entered the channel's top 10. I believe that one of the reasons why BTS's performance stood out among other Tiny Desk home concerts is because it felt closer to a regular Tiny Desk concert. So it was not just a popular BTS performance that fans don't even remember what it was for. BTS made it easier to associate this performance with the show, and this was something that not a lot of artists could fully replicate. To do this, BTS performed with a live band at the record store Vinyl and Plastic in Seoul. They performed 3 songs that somehow told a very specific story about the world's situation. The first song was what I consider the escape. In 2020, most popular songs were lighthearted and not too serious, and many associated this with a phenomenon in music known as recession pop, which happens during times of economic crisis. Recession pop happened for the first time in 2008. It had a short resurgence during the pandemic and another one in 2024. So BTS opened their 2020
Every
Timeless
time
concert
with all those dates, yeah. We needed that light recession pop. You don't notice it when you're in it, but looking back like that, she was, yeah, yeah, did. Like the recession, the recession, wow. The pandemic for me, outside of getting COVID for once, thank goodness it was just once, and getting through it. Outside of that, I still had to work. Like my job was, my job was considered one of the ones that was, necessary, or what was the word they used? Whatever, I can't even remember. Thank goodness. But so it was normal for me. Like nothing changed except I could only go to the grocery store and that was about it. But I'm a homebody anyway, so like really not too much changed for me. So I wasn't out, looking for something to do. I didn't have the time, the extra time to just be online. I was still working like a normal, like I am now, so, um, yeah, okay, yeah. Music probably helped a lot of you, and I know BTS helped a lot of you during the pandemic times. Me, Pentatonics, I had Pentatonics. I had, the normal '90s songs I listened to because that was the best era of music. '90s, early 2000s, even some of the '80s. That was the best time, and that's another reason I love BTS is because they take me there. Like with their music, regardless of when they put it out, takes me back to what I consider the best time of music for me. So and it's weird, even the stuff they dropped into 2025 takes me back. Cause I'm sorry, Sweet Dreams and Mona Lisa and Who and Standing Next to You and they just all and all of these albums, you know what I'm saying? They just all take me to that time. So yeah, okay. All right, wait, let's go back a little bit. Just a little bit. All right.
another one in 2024. So BTS opened their 2020 Tiny Desk concert with what the world wanted to listen to at the time. Not a sad, sentimental song, but some sort of escapism.
It's a disco pop track that we simply wanted to share great energy to everyone around the world.
Dynamite was BTS's first song to be fully recorded in English, so it easily topped charts around the world, including the US specifically. With this uplifting pop song, BTS welcomes Western and global audiences to their world. After Dynamite, BTS doesn't completely address the elephant in the room, but they hinted. While still maintaining an upbeat tone, they sing about the stressful reality. BTS Save Me, released in 2016, is about feeling trapped in a dark place. So they ask someone to please reach out their hand and save them.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they chose this song purely from a storytelling point. BTS has many songs that would fit way better in this unplugged environment of indie music. But Save Me has both the recession music characteristic electropop sound and lyrics that express the feeling of hopelessness that the world was feeling. This was the perfect transition to the third and last song. Spring Day was the song that surprised Tiny Desk creator Stephen Thompson the most. He wrote, "Spring Day seemed especially true to BTS's hopeful nature. Introduced with a few optimistic words from rapper and singer RM, the song reflects on a need to wait out hard times, even as the weight of present-day pain feels oppressive. Released on the last day of a grim season, Spring Day provides a nice reminder of what awaits us on the other side. We just have to get through fall and winter first."
We live at such difficult time like now. We all are wishing for the spring day to come.
It's been the roughest summer ever, but we know that spring will come.
So the relevance of BTS's Tiny Desk concert was not just their participation. It was
the way
also
they sang that here did make it feel hopeful. In my opinion, like this whole Tiny Desk was awesome. You know, it was awesome. Okay, so, but yeah, it did make it does. Yeah, even the way they sang "Save Me" with the band, you know, it sounded, and then their energy too, you know. And I like that they also got to show off their skills, you know, live, sitting in some chairs, and their excitement for the ones who dance, their little bit of personality. And like, this was an awesome presentation that a lot of people was able to watch, you know, because they had nothing else to do, you know, like not nothing else to do, but you know what I mean. They had the free time to watch it because they was stuck at home, you know. So I'm sure this got them a lot of fans, you know, who wouldn't have found them because they would have been at work or something. You know what I'm saying? Like BTS, man, I'm telling you.
stage. The introduction of
Wait,
BTS's more laid-back
pause.
side to
Sorry.
mainstream audiences.
Let's go back. All right.
So the relevance of BTS's Tiny Desk concert was not just their participation, it was also the stage. The introduction of BTS's more laid-back side to mainstream audiences, the track list, and the explanation BTS gave of the track list. All of this makes the performance easy to remember, and of course, extremely popular.
Yeah, RM's Tiny Desk. V's Tiny Desk.
We can still wonder, is this performance relevant because of the format or because of BTS? Is there really a significant international audience used to maximalist performances willing to watch a more laid-back version of their favorite artists? The perfect person to test this was RM of BTS, the second idol invited to Tiny Desk. RM's solo music is more alternative hip-hop and R&B, which allowed him to stay true to Tiny Desk format. RM's Tiny Desk concert happened in December of 2020.
Ah, come on.
So it didn't really need to be a home edition. Tiny Desk went back to prioritizing the regular format by this time, but they made an exception for RM, who didn't travel to America to promote his album Indigo. Tiny Desk creator Stephen Thompson wrote, "Given that BTS's RM is based in South Korea, we let it slide, not least because his team put together one of the most impressive Tiny Desk facsimiles we've seen yet." RM's Tiny Desk concert was released the same day as his album Indigo, but he started his performance with an old song, Seoul, from his 2018 mixtape Mono.
Basically, as you know, the capital city, which is my second hometown in Korea. Seoul is the city that I spent the most time since I started music. So I just always been wanting to make a song about Seoul.
Then RM performs two songs from his album Indigo, Yoon, which originally features the Queen of Neo Soul Erykah Badu, and Still Life, which features Anderson .Paak.
Next song would be first track of the album Indigo. It's about the Korean painter Yoon Hyung-gun that I have the biggest respect, art industry. He was always saying that you should firstly be a human before you do some art or do So the song is inspired by his lifelong message, and when you see the cover of the album, you could see his painting.
I wanna be a human before I do some art. It's a cruel world, but it's gonna be more part.
It's a number 2, track 2 out of this album, and it's called Still Life. So I wrote this song actually out of the museum, so a lot of paintings were titled Still Life, and I felt really strange. The flower as a model of the painting is, dead like a century ago, but it's, still alive in the painting by the painters themselves. So they gave the birth, actually the eternal birth or life to the flowers by painting.
I'm still alive, but I'm moving. Chill it now, go forward. Yo, 멈추지 않은
Yo,
정을.
RM be
Although the
going
Tiny
deep,
Desk
don't he?
producers were very insistent on having RM on the actual desk in Washington, D.C., the performance was a success. There was a significant international audience willing to watch this format. So after years of having occasional specials for international artists, NPR launched their first official international series, Tiny Desk Korea.
Yo,
NPR joined the
My
Korean
favorite.
telecommunications and media company LGU Plus to create Tiny Desk Korea. The first promotion teaser was released in August 17 of 2023 with the slogan "Tiny but not so tiny concert," a phrase RM said on BTS's Tiny Desk concert.
Everyone could also enjoy a tiny but not so tiny concert.
Come on. What do you say here? BTS paved the way. Or at least you can say BTS as Muse again. Like,
The first list of performers included V of BTS. His performance was
He
the
did
only one
that.
to be released simultaneously on NPR's Music regular channel and the
Oh, for
brand
real?
new Tiny Desk Korea channel.
Huh.
This gave visibility to the previously released videos of smaller Korean artists and made audiences aware of the new show's format. V
Oh,
of
that's
BTS
cool.
was the perfect artist to have this big premiere.
Yes,
His
'cause he
entire
killed
debut
it.
album Layover was R&B, jazz, and neo-soul, so he had an 8-member session band performing with him, including 3 backup vocalists. Although the entire album was a perfect fit for this style of performance, V chose the pre-release single Love Me Again, the main single Slow Dancing, and the B-side
He
For
picked
Us.
right.
NPR and Tiny Desk producer Suraya Mohammed wrote, Love Me Again starts the set with a catchy hook and steamy verses sung in Korean. You don't have to understand the language to feel the regret and loss. V keeps the romantic mood
Yeah,
going
that's
with
gonna
an
make me have
up-tempo R&B.
just seeing this is gonna make me have to go watch it again. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times I love watching other reactors react to this, but I also like just watching it. So yeah, I think every time I hear it or see it in a clip or something pass by, even in a like a when you're scrolling, it always makes me want to go back and watch. He did that. He, the band, Jacob, well, the saxes, because he had 2. Um, they all did that thing, but V. So he at one point he's all looking sexy and singing, other point he's all cute and being all thinking. Then he's in it. Like I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
V keeps the
Favorite one.
romantic mood going with an up-tempo R&B vibe
I
on
love
Slow
slow
Dancing.
That's my shit. And see, he starts getting
V
into it. I
ends the
love it.
concert with the chassis For Us.
이번 앨범은 잠시 스쳐가듯 그리고 쉬어가듯
Fleeting
지나가듯
Tranquility.
머무는 휴식 같은 곡들로 채웠습니다.
And this showcases our V, his high, his low, his mid, his rhythm. Like, like, I would say this. You got any friends, but especially friends that look like me, who are into R&B, and you want to slowly introduce them into BTS, you can't go wrong with this one. Can't go wrong on multiple levels, not just because of the music, because that's on lock. But then on V, like the gorgeousness, like we appreciate that too, like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? The rhythm, We appreciate that. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm just saying more than some others might. We appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? The diversity. He includes us in the, he's inclusive. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. Like, he includes, you know what I'm saying? So, and then he recognizes the band. There's that too. Like, it's just a whole bunch of different factors that would pull people in. But at least I know if you got people that look like me and that like music, they gotta like music. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there are people who don't. But if they like music, and then specifically if they like R&B music, and you want to introduce them to BTS, this is all you got to show them. And just be like, yeah, this is just one member. There's 6 other Power Rangers in this mofo. And you're in. And like Flynn, they at least going, and then you jump, if you know they also like rap, then you jump over to the rap line and pull, you got your pick. Honestly, you got your pick. There's a host of riches over there. But if they're not in the rap and you want to pull them in some more, you jump over to standing next to you. Yank JK's ass all the way up in there. Like, look, okay, this is getting long. Hope that helped you out. Oh, no. Okay, let's go back a little bit. But yeah, I'm just saying.
들로 채웠습니다.
After V's performance, many artists popular in South Korea joined the list of Tiny Desk Korea performers, and only 7 months after the beginning of the series, NPR partnered with the Japan Broadcasting Corporation, or NHK, to launch the second international series, Tiny Desk Concerts Japan. The series was launched with a strategy similar to Tiny Desk Korea. The list of artists part of the big premiere of Tiny Desk Concerts Japan included a big recognizable artist. His performance was published on the NPR Music Channel, which brought attention to other performances at the NHK World Japan Channel. Mainstream audiences expect BTS to be the typical boy band that performs pop songs with intense choreographies, so it's no surprise that this is one of the most recommended BTS performances for non-fans. It makes sense. BTS is used to performing in settings like this, but not so much in American shows. This is because America wants to see the boy band side of BTS. As I mentioned, the creator of Tiny Desk Concert was willing to move the desk for the first time ever just so BTS could dance, changing the format of the show. It wouldn't have been a Tiny Desk Concert, it would have been a tiny concert. And I wonder if BTS's performance would have been as impactful as it was if BTS decided to perform Dynamite with a choreography for the 30th time during the pandemic. Tiny Desk concerts were gaining popularity outside the US during the pandemic, so I wouldn't doubt the popularity of BTS's performance, but the impact is something different.
This was better.
Tiny Desk
Yeah, this was better because they did dance. It just wasn't a choreographed dance. They danced as the spirit moved them, which is much more relatable and much more enjoyable to watch. You know what I'm saying? So no, we saw all the choreographed full on at the award shows so we were still gonna see that. The way they did it here with just them singing and if they danced because they was feeling it, that's what happened and that's what we got. That was totally enjoyable, and that makes people who watch it just the ones who dance, they want to get up and dance. The ones who don't, they rock it, they seat dancing, or they just rocking in their seat enjoying the music. It was fabulous the way they did that, especially during the pandemic, because people was in their living rooms on their TV. They was watching it at home, and some of them, I guarantee, got up off that couch, chair, stool, and danced their asses off. Bed and dance their asses off right along with them.
the popularity of BTS's performance, but the impact is something
Yeah,
different.
this was
Tiny
just
Desk had more than 100 international artists on their show before they had BTS. Some were huge international artists, but it was BTS's performance what made not just international audiences, but also international broadcasting stations truly notice the potential this format had. So this may have been just one more show that BTS accepted to be part of during the pandemic. This may have been just a casual phrase by RM, but the performance's impact will forever be part of the show's legacy.
Tiny, but not so tiny. I hope they cut him a little something for that phrase. I mean, they don't technically have to, because he probably didn't think to even. I hope he did though, because he is smart. But he may not have thought to copyright that slogan. That slogan, basically, even though that's not what he meant it to be, obviously, but that's what it is. If he did trademark it, not copyright, trademark it, and if not, I hope Tiny Desk still broke him off a little soft. Just like, as a gift, here's whatever. Like, for that, because we gonna use that. You know what I'm saying? And since you didn't trademark it, we already did. I mean, because they can if he did. So, yeah. But I hope they still broke him off a little something. This Stephen Thompson or whatever guy that seems to be the one making all the statements. I don't know if he's in charge, owner, and all that jazz. Hope you gave him a little. I hope you broke him off a little something, since you using his phrase. That's all I'm saying. Or, like I said, I hope he did trademark it. But he wouldn't have known they was gonna do this. So that was good, boy. That was good. I like that. I like that. And it makes you think, right? Like what I just said, like BTS as Muse, so BTS as Muse. All right, y'all. Let me know what y'all thought about this. Do you agree? I want to know y'all's thoughts about this. Did you watch Tiny Desk stuff before BTS, or because of BTS did you then go back in time and watch the other artists you like, or started watching after the fact? Like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. All right, y'all. So hit that like button. If this is more than your first video, man, hit that subscribe button, because you obviously one of my people. But more importantly, hit that post notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I drop. If you think someone else will enjoy my reaction, sharing is caring. So pass it on. Pass it on. All right, y'all. I will see you in the next one. Peace. And y'all, boy.